Hey guys, how you doing? What's up? It's Taz. Hope everybody's good. Hope everybody's having a good week so far. Today I've got want to open your mind to some that I used to do, some that I used to make along with my parents in Jamaica. So, it's gonna be like a kind of lengthy video. So, if you need to get some water, if you need to just get something, chill, and listen. But for this, I want to say thanks to everyone for everything and for following and subscribe and keep watching my channel and support in any way you can, because it takes a lot of time and stuff to put this together and try to do these things. So, but I really appreciate everybody out there who's working with me. I want to see the best for all of us to make this a great experience for all of us right now, because I really think that we're in such a time that's really, we can enjoy ourselves and we can outdo and outperform a lot and just take everything up to the next level and spread knowledge and love to everyone out there, and just get back to just making our kids and changing the way how things used to be, because we got it to a place now that we want it to be. So now we just need to advance and put some strong foundation in, just Patrick and George Washington, all these people that was great, Martin Luther King, all these people that was great previous, who created and made a strong foundation for us to build on. So now we must start building on that, so we can take everything else to the next level. But besides that, what I really wanted to talk about today is this is called Anthracite. This is coal. This is what the train used to run on, Anthracite. So it's like a hard coal. It's very hard. It's you have to dig this out of the earth to get this kind of coal, and it's and normally Anthracite is normally places in the mountain where there's high pressure and high temperature, place like that for for them to dig for it and stuff like that. This is not what I used to make. I used to make charcoal, and so it was a bit different from Anthracite, because charcoal, the process is a bit different. And charcoal, it's handmade. We used to make it So I'm gonna take you through the steps of how we used to make it. But I just wanted to bring the Anthracite coal to your attention. It's like Anthracite versus charcoal. Anthracite is what they used to run the train on, and this is something that you dig up from high pressure and high temperature. It's placed the earth, and but charcoal is different, So when I used to make charcoal in Jamaica, basically what we did first, we had cleared out a piece of property, make sure it was clean and clear. And say that to say this, countries that used to do or burn charcoal has their different methods of doing it. I think Britain, somehow they make some kind of a stone looking TP thing to burn their charcoal in. But in Jamaica, we some place use a mud pit, but what we did there was we'd clear out the property, make sure the ground is clean, and we dig a 2-foot hole down, and we'll save the dirt. And once we save the dirt, we put the dirt to the side, and then we'll have green logs, because you got to use green logs to because the charcoal is not really burnt. It's just to get that charcoal, you have to it's steaming. So we'd get logs maybe 5 to 4 feet tall, and maybe 2-foot wide logs, real big evergreen logs, and we'll put those to the side. And so what you want to start with first, what we started first, once we got that the hole digged out about 12 by 12 and 2 foot down, and we shaved the dirt, then we start making a teepee with coal with dry 2-foot logs, about 2-foot logs, dry logs, and we'll split those and make like a small teepee with a little hole in it, so that way you have somewhere to light it when we finish up with the other process. So we have a teepee of dry wood like this, just a little bit, just enough to where we can have the fire start. So once we make something like this with the dry wood, then we'll put the big green logs around it, and we'll keep doing that until we get it to the size that we really want. And once we get it to the size that we really want, then we'll put some more of the green logs on top. And so we'll still have that teepee opening, because that's where we're gonna go, and that's where we would go and light from. So it would dry first, but everything else was around it was green. And once we get that done, then we would, once we have all the logs packed around in a teepee style with an opening, and then we put more green logs on top. And the reason for the green logs on top was basically, see, the way with charcoal is, if it gets oxygen, it's gonna burn. So it would go from steaming to just burning if it gets oxygen in. So we're gonna try to avoid any burning coming through the top, because remember, we started out with dry wood first, dry logs first. And so if those caught fire and start blazing real bad, then that it could come out to the very top. So in order to avoid that, too, we'd put green logs on the top. Once we did that, then we would start putting green branches all over, just bunch of green branches all over those green logs, because now we're trying to seal it in real good, so that way, because remember, it's gonna steam. So we try to seal it in with green branches right around top, side, everywhere, as much green branches as possible. But we still have the opening, because that's where we're gonna light it from. So we just keep that in mind, that the opening is still gonna be there. So next thing we did, we'd put frames, we'd put some posts around, because now we're gonna make a frame around the teepee of the fire skill, the coal skill. Some people call it coal skill, some people call it charcoal skill. We call it charcoal skill in Jamaica. We call it the fire skill. We call it charcoal skill. So once we have that up like this, it's gonna be like this once we get done. So first and foremost, like once we put all the posts around it, then we get some more, not logs, but sticks to kind of border in, because now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pile the dirt on it. So we're gonna make it into like a dirt pile. Some places use mud and stuff like that, but we don't use mud. We just use that dirt that we had dug out from it. We save that. And so now once we put those posts around, then we start putting more posts just to brace it in and just to help all the dirt in. So now we'll dirt it. We'll just pile of dirt on it, keep piling the dirt on it till all those green branches that we had covered it with is now up to seal it from any air or oxygen going in. So once that is completely covered, we have the opening still. So now what we do with that opening, we go in and we light the dry logs in. And once we get that light, we'll make sure it's light. So we'll wait for a minute and let it keep going. So once we know that it's lit, then we start packing dry logs, and then we finish packing green logs coming out of the opening that was there. And then we put green branches on it. Like I said, we'll put green branches on it to fill that in. And then we'll put the dirt on it to seal that in also, because now we're going to seal the whole thing right round with dirt. So we're going to make sure there's enough dirt so that way there's no room for oxygen to get in there, because if oxygen get in there, now it's going to go from steaming the coal to actually burning the coal, and we don't want to burn the coal yet because we've got to cook with it anyway. So once you get that sealed in properly, then and it starts smoking, it's going to start smoking. So you got to hang around for a while, because sometimes making charcoal, once you light it, sometimes it don't really catch really well, and so you have to pull that out back and really relight it again. So once once you watch it for a couple of hours and you see that okay, it's doing its thing, you just stay back for a minute and kind of watch for 2 or 3 hours, just to make sure that it starts off, because this process will take like a week sometimes to complete. So for it to finish burning, you got to check on it like 2 times a day, just to make sure that there's oxygen didn't get in it and it caught blaze. And then, because if it catches blaze, then it's gonna burn a hole to the very top or very side or wherever. So to avoid that, sometimes you got to check back at it 2 or 3 times of the day, just to make sure that it's steaming on, and all those big green logs are actually steaming and the coal is going through its process of making. So once it's there, and we make sure it's completely dirt, and you'll see it just, sometimes you see just a bit of smoke coming up top, not a whole lot, just a little bit. And so we check back on it. Day 1, we'll check on it 2 times a day. Day 2, 3 times a day, just to make sure that, because you want to try to make sure that there's no room for oxygen to get in it. So like I said, the process sometimes takes 3 to 4 days, 5 days. It just depends on how much big logs you want to put on it, and what's the burning like on the bottom, and how it caught. So once the 4th day come and you say okay, you check it, we check it to see, poke or something in it to kind of feel like okay, it will drop. You can notice all the big log has been smoked out, so been burned to charcoal, steamed to charcoal. So it went from being up here to kind of come down here. So once it comes down here, you can tell, okay, it's time to pull the coal scale apart. It's time to take it apart, because remember when we started it was up here. So to know that it's finished burning and coal is finished, the logs are finished steaming and it's broken down into coal, it automatically drops down. The more each day it comes down. So when you go for a 5th day, you see down this level, automatically like the process is done with the steaming of the charcoal. And so what we did, we had holes, and so we'll start pull the things apart from around it and put it to the side, and the braces and stuff like that, and the green leaves that we put around it, those, once the big logs are steamed out, automatically those branches are going to, burn up. So all we had left was just pure coal, and so we had to start hoeing. Once we pull the barriers around and set it to the side, we start hoeing those coals out. We'd hoe it out, and we had to do that in a timely manner, because of the oxygen and the air might get on it. So we had to pull it out real quick, hoe it out, so you'd see big lumps and big chunks of coal coming out. Well, this was really, interesting to see these big logs becomes this nice, charcoal, and it was just a different, it's like you're creating something. So once we pull it out, we'd make sure we start put dirt all over the steam coal that we had hoed out. And it would take 2 or 3 people to hoe it out, because you have to hoe it out in so quickly, that way too much oxygen don't get on it, because if too much oxygen get on the steam coal down there, it automatically turns into fire and start burning. And you want to avoid that, because it's not time for it to start burning it. Anyway, so we'll make haste and put dirt on it and cover it up. And once we covered all those coals laying there with dirt, you have to keep going through. Sometimes you'll see a little spot burning here and there. You gotta go over there and cover it dirt and watch it for a minute for it to cool down and stuff like that. But the unique part about the charcoal is that's one of the things that makes Jamaica, like jerk chicken and jerk pork, and cooking with it in a grill style, make the food more tasteful, and just the old taste is just more real and natural and genuine. So that process, with the process of cooking with it also, is just one of the way we used to survive. And we, that's how we would spend our week, use our week for cooking, and ironing. On also, we used to use the old iron to, would put the coal in it and use the eat the iron up, and then we'd wipe it off and use it to iron clothes, and that's the same way how we used to cook, is with the same charcoal. And millions of homes in Jamaica, that's how they used to use this charcoal, back in the 70s, 80s, late 90s, early 90s, but it was just one of the way of life there. And to take part in a thing like that was, at the time for me, it was, it's just it's something I did. But looking back at it right now, it's like, wow, it was just, and it was not something that we did once a month, it was something that we do, 2 or 3 times a month, but I just wanted to share that with you guys, and that it's a unique process, and I'm not saying to go try it or anything. I'm just saying that's something that we did there, and I tried to compare it with the Anthracite, which is different because I found this on a train track the other day, just a bunch of it, and I was thinking, it just reminded me of just how we used to make coal back in Jamaica. So that's why I did this video. So that way, you could see, and it also tells where we're coming from. This tells where we're coming from. To power the train, there was 2-3 guys. We never had train in Jamaica, but just from learning and history and stuff like that, yet to make it go fast, even the Titanic, I think, might have used Anthracite. But just to see it just kind of bring back memories to me of how we made charcoal in Jamaica, and just got me really interested in finding out what this really is and how it's made and where it's from. And actually, places like Ukraine, places like Russia, because right here there's a thing that says anthracite is an old type of coal which occurred in a rock series geographical age Laurasia and Gondwana, which is more than 2 million years ago. An anthracite coal is formed, that this is a formation of bituminous and coal. Bituminous coal, when undergoes like future changes, but that's not my what I want to really say about that. What I really want to say about this anthracite is just like where anthracite is found, major source, like places like Russia estimated as the largest reserve of anthracite. China, I think, has 9 billion tons found in China. Ukraine, North Korea, USA, it's just like, and it says, which is the primary location. It's in Pennsylvania. So this says like the ranked countries are for anthracite reserve in billions of tons. They have Russia, China, Ukraine, Vietnam, North Korea, and we have USA. So if you want to find some anthracite or where it's at, if you can't find it in the train tracks, Pennsylvania. My name is Taz. Hey, thanks for watching. Keep supporting, and don't just go burning a coal skill right now. You have to make sure you get it's different here in the States. To burn something, you have to get some kind of approval from the fire department, and you want to make sure that you have a open, clear spot if you're going to try this. But it's really unique to kind of do something like this. I mean, it's just unique to do something like this with your family or with your kids. But remember, don't just go, I'm not telling you to go burn a Coles kill right now. I'm just saying, like, it's just, this is where we're coming from. So like the other day I did a video about like dollars versus crypto, but I'm just a god, you know, I know. And I was thinking like, is there a future for crypto? Is there not there's a future. There's always a future, but like, you know what I'm saying. So you take the rest of it from there. Anyway, my name is Taz. Like I said, this is going to be a long video. I appreciate everyone, and I appreciate the support. Keep supporting me, because you know, it's not easy to like to find and maintain this kind of platform. So it takes everyone to support each another to push us forward. So I just want to say thanks to all the people out there on YouTube. Like, I want to thank, you know, like I started out with Marco, Finance with Whiteboard, kind of doing stocks and everything like that. I'd watch him day in, day out. I'd watch Zip Trader day in, day out. Watch Keno, Corey, those guys, you know, Warren Buffett. I just, you know, keep watching those and understanding, like, you know, how things go. And so I just want to send support to everyone out there so they'll support me, and hopefully it can get better. And my name is Taz, Anthracite, Pennsylvania. Have a good day. All right. Thanks.